Hi guys, my name is Danny Morris. I did a small group literacy lesson for assignment 4 in my teaching unit. I am a kindergarten teacher up in Overland Park in the Blue Valley School District. So my objectives for this assignment were for my students to read on-level appropriate text using 3 different strategies. They're going to be able to decode words using phonics skills, and they'd be able to answer comprehension questions including character and setting. Now, the whole pre-assessment of this assignment was the flowchart that we did in assignment 3. I completed running record assessments with my students individually. I used the Reading A to Z app, so I incorporated the ISTE standard within there, and I was able to place these students in a small group. So I wanted to be able to do this assignment with that smaller group instead of as whole class instruction. So my students this was the higher group that I decided to use and to do this assignment with. I wanted to stretch my mind as a teacher and make sure that I am giving those higher students a lot more enrichment and more challenging things than my lower level students, and I've struggled with that in the past. I decided to use a backward design model just because that pre-assessment was going to help me figure out the individual needs and to put those in the small group, as well as to create goals and an assessment for the end and smaller informal assessments throughout. So I felt like the assessment piece was really important for me for this, which is why the backward design model made the most sense. I did incorporate technology within it. At first, the only thing that I did with this was that I used the technology piece for the running records. But then as I went on, I decided to go ahead and add in the second piece of technology with students, because I thought that was important to help them interact. So I did have to go back and change this already before I went ahead and taught it to my kiddos. On day 1, it was pretty basic. I taught them reading strategies. We read through a story together. They were asked to choral read, and I was going to model them as well. They're going to whisper read and tell their partners. So this was more basic. I do think that I probably could have started off even more basic with phonics with these kids, but I knew that they were already readers and I wanted to focus my lesson on that. So then on day 2, we went ahead and reviewed what we learned the day before with our strategies. And then we went around and we made the reading a little bit more complex, where the students were able to learn more about characters and setting, and we could focus more on the comprehension piece today. The students this time were able to pair up, and their informal assessment was them to draw the setting of how they believe that setting would be in this day camp story in their own words with a partner. Then on day 3, this was mostly my integration with technology day. I went ahead and talked more about setting and character with the kids. They were able to use their iPads to find the image that they wanted for their character. And then we used the ChatterPix app, and they were able to find a picture and narrate kind of the story and the purpose of the character with that ChatterPix image. And this took a little bit longer than I had expected, so this actually moved into day 4. And it ended up being, I think, a very thorough and good lesson for them. I do think, however, that sometimes I forget how long kindergartners take to do things and how basic I really need to start before I get into the comprehension and the reading text and start with the phonics. So my own evaluation, I said I did want to continue to create something that I would actually use in my classroom. I do feel that these were appropriate for the students. Like I said, could have added a little more introduction into it. They used real-world complex ideas and understandings that they're going to have to use from now until the remainder of their reading. I mean, from now on. The students were not necessarily able to self-assess, but when they did talk with their other peers and talk with me, they had several different ways that I was able to informally assess them throughout, as well as the main pre-assessment. If anything I would change, I would incorporate that running record more into this lesson, because I know that was a main part of my assignment 3. I think that this went really well, and I was excited to present.